What is up, bros? I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we are a couple of bros on a mission to give you guys the most detailed movie reviews out there with as little bias as possible. Welcome to the All Bros. This week on the podcast in 4K Spotlight, we only have one new item to talk about. And then we will be getting into this week's headliner, where we will be breaking down Hocus Pocus 2, the long-anticipated sequel to the original Hocus Pocus.
A cult classic.
So, with that, let's say we get straight into it.
Let's do it.
Every day, we're surrounded by media. Books, movies, art, music, games, apps, podcasts, etc., etc. With this constant bombardment, it's easy to miss great media gems in the chaos. But fret not, you've come to the right place, my friend. I'm Jason, and I love media. I invite you to check out the Mixed Media Forest podcast, the podcast where I trudge through the forests of media to find hidden gems for you, the listener. Every episode of Mixed Media Forest is chock full of fun, reviews, nostalgia, positivity, news, rants, stories, and recommendations about all things media. Again, that's the Mixed Media Forest podcast, created on Anchor Podcasting app and available everywhere fine podcasts can be found. Give it a listen. It's what all the cool kids are doing.
Alrighty, like we said, starting off with 4K Spotlight, we only have one movie to talk about this week, and that is the release of Bullet Train. So, Rose, would you like to tell everyone about that and where it's coming?
Yes, I would love to. And, Caleb, I just realized that I lied. There's actually two other big releases coming out. I'm sorry.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Every freaking week, Rose.
I know. I'm so good at this. I do it just to fuck with you. I think I've come to that
it's
point.
starting to feel like it.
Oh, shit. Alright, anyway. So, yeah, Bullet Train is coming to 4K and Blu-ray, as well as a Best Buy exclusive steelbook. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to double check on this. Never mind, it is not a Best Buy exclusive steelbook, so you can actually get this steelbook anywhere. Or by anywhere, I really mean like Target and Amazon. That's usually Target, Amazon, and Best Buy. That's usually, if a steelbook is a wide release, those are usually the three that will always carry it. But beside Bullet Train, we're also getting Orphan First Kill. I haven't even seen the first one yet, but I've heard it's really good. I've heard the sequel's actually decent, so I kind of want to see both now.
Are those movies? I thought those were TV shows.
No, they're movies.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I know, Orphan First Kill, I know, I think it was in theaters and on Paramount Plus at the exact same time. So.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen it on Paramount Plus a lot, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. They made a movie based off of this show. I didn't, it was such like a big thing. Like Orphan was just such a big thing. I always thought it was a show because like people were promoting it like everywhere. So I don't know where I got that wrong.
You're good, man. Dude, I remember the first one freaking came out when we were in junior high, I swear.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the first one is that old.
Like,
so
how many movies are there? Is it?
It's just the original on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just two.
That's freaking weird. Like, why did I think it was a show?
I wish I knew. But besides that, the last big release coming out is a movie that me and Caleb were very divisive on. Or you know what I mean. I didn't really like it, but he somewhat liked it. That's Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank. That is coming to Blu-ray as well this Tuesday. So.
I like the writing. I think that was the only thing that we really disagreed on was.
Oh, it was
the
okay.
writing. Yeah, Everything else was pretty close.
Okay. All right. But yeah, so that is what is coming out this Tuesday.
Nice. Well, with that out of the way, let's move on to this week's headliner, where we break down Hocus Pocus 2.
Yes, let's do it.
Alrighty, like we said, we will be breaking down Hocus Pocus 2. So, if you are new to our breakdown system, the way that we break down movies over here is we have split them into 8 different categories that we individually score to come to a final All Bros letter grade. And the 8 categories that we score are story, writing, acting, character development, effects, music, costumes, and then we give it our own personal score at the very end. All of those numbers get magically added up, thrown into our algorithm, and spit out a letter grade for us to compare to other movies of similar grades, and a percentage to break down a hierarchy of our movies. So, if you have not seen Hocus Pocus 2, it is currently available to stream on Disney+. So definitely go check that out. If you listen past this point, Rose is about to read off the entire synopsis for the film, and it will be spoiled for you. So if you don't want it spoiled, stop listening now, go watch the movie, come back, and join us for this breakdown. So anyway, if you have chosen to listen past this point, it is your own damn fault if the movie gets ruined for you. So, without further ado, our favorite segment, Reading with Rose, everyone.
Okay, let's see if I can go without screwing this up. In 1653 Salem, a young Winifred Sanderson is banished from Salem by Reverend Trask, hope I said that right, after she defied the authority of the church by refusing to marry John Pritchett. Rather than let her sisters Mary and Sarah be taken away from her, Winifred escapes with them to a nearby forbidden forest. There they make the acquaintance of Mother Witch, who gives Winifred her magic book for her 16th birthday, but explicitly warns the sisters against casting a spell known as the Magicae Maxima?
Sounds right.
Is that okay? Cool. Which makes the user all-powerful. Mother Witch also teaches the sisters to kill other children to keep their youthfulness. In 2022, 29 years after the Sanderson sisters were resurrected by the Black Flame Candle, Salem teenagers Becca and Izzy prepare to celebrate both Halloween and Becca's 16th birthday, but turn down a party invitation from their estranged friend Cassie Trask. Becca and Izzy visit a magic shop, formerly the Sanderson Cottage, run by Gilbert, who gifts Becca a candle for their annual birthday ritual. Becca and Izzy light the candle and discover that it is another black flame candle. As there is a full moon and the girls are both virgins, the candle resurrects the Sanderson sisters once again. The girls manage to outwit the sisters in a local Walgreens and then escape to the magic shop, where they discover that Gilbert tricked them into reviving the sisters, having seen them on Halloween back in 1993 and been taught how to make the candle by book. The sisters catch up to the girls and see a campaign flyer belonging to Mayor Trask, Cassie's father, and Reverend Trask's direct descendant. Winifred decides they will cast the Magicae Maxima spell to eliminate Trask and take revenge on Salem. The sisters trap Izzy and Becca in the basement and leave to hunt down Trask, whose blood is needed to complete the spell. They force Gilbert to collect the other ingredients. The girls escape and head to the Trask house to warn the mayor, while the sisters find their way to the town's Halloween carnival and enchant the citizens to help find the mayor. Meanwhile, Gilbert digs up Billy Butcherson, who has been awake but entombed since 1993. Gilbert needs Billy's head for the spell, but tricks Billy into helping him collect the other ingredients first. The girls reunite with Cassie and manage to trap the sisters within a salt circle in Cassie's garage before Mayor Trask returns home. The three teenagers make amends with one another, but their reunion is interrupted when the sisters escape the circle and kidnap Cassie to use her blood instead. Becca and Izzy follow them to the Forbidden Forest, where Gilbert has assembled the ingredients and soon discover that Becca is also a witch. The sisters partially cast the spell and increase their power, but Becca distracts them while Izzy rescues Cassie. Becca manages to convince Book that it does not have to answer to Winifred, and Becca and Book flee further into the forest. Book shows them a warning about the Magicae Maxima spell, stating that whoever casts it must give up what they cherish most. The girls agree to warn Winifred of the price of the spell, but are too late. Winifred becomes all-powerful as Mary and Sarah fade to dust. Winifred grows despondent and begs the teenagers to use their newfound powers to save her sisters. While they cannot save the two, Becca, Cassie, and Izzy join together in a coven and cast a reuniting spell, and Winifred happily fades away to be reunited with her sisters. The girls are joined by Gilbert and Billy, while Billy starts to fade away, realizing that all of Winifred's spells have been undone, and relieved to finally be headed to his eternal rest. The girls decide to give Book a new home and continue practicing their magic as they walk off into the night in a similar manner as the Sanderson sisters. As they leave, a crow identical to the one that Mother Witch had shapeshift into flies overhead. And they do not include the end credit scene. Did you watch the end credit scene?
Yes. I did watch it on accident.
What do you mean by accident?
Okay, so when I was watching it, I meant to turn it off, right?
Okay.
But I got distracted doing something, and so I just kind of let the credits play through. And then when I was walking over to turn my TV off, then the end credits scene started, and I was just like, oh shit.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I caught that completely on accident. I wouldn't have under normal circumstances, but yeah.
That's funny. I mean, it's really nothing. It kind of just teases a Hocus Pocus 3, if there is one, of a black cat in the Sanderson Sisters cottage, jumping up to where there lies a second, or there's a box that says Black Flame Candle number 2. And then that's it.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense, though.
It doesn't. How many freaking Black Flame candles are there?
Yeah, well, okay. It's understandable that they have another one, but it's why would they tease that? Unless they, plan on doing, another one of these movies. But if you do another Hocus Pocus movie, you can't include the Sanderson sisters. They're freaking dust now.
Yeah. I mean, this
Unless
movie...
this is some bullshit where they keep, reappearing every time there's a freaking candle.
I mean, that's what I thought, when they first resurrected them in this one. I'm like, okay, wait, I thought because in the first one, when, they get rid of the Sanderson sisters and Binks is able to actually exit from being a cat and his soul is able to lay to rest, he actually gets to join his family. I thought that meant, oh yeah, the Sanderson sisters are completely dead. They can't come back.
Yeah, there's some freaking plot holes in this movie.
There really is.
The tie-ins were not as good as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, just getting straight into this story. It really failed. The only nostalgia button that they happened to push on me was seeing the Sanderson sisters again. Other than that, they didn't hit shit.
I agree, and this is nothing. And I have a problem with one of the Sanderson sisters because, for me, like we've talked about in the first one, you cannot tell at all that Sarah Jessica Parker is Sarah.
Oh yeah, I had no issue knowing that was her.
This one, I'm sorry, no matter how hard she tried, I'm like, yeah, no, that's still Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't know what it was, Bette Midler and Kathy Najimy, I feel like they went right back into their roles like that. I mean, even I feel honestly, Kathy Najimy even a little bit more in this one than the first one. But I don't know. All I could see was Sarah Jessica Parker. It didn't.
It's
really
fair, but it's also she didn't she didn't lose herself in the role like she did.
She didn't, and honestly,
one.
I might actually blame that on writing because I feel she is still trying her best here. I feel all three are.
Yeah, absolutely. Like she was giving similar enough performance. It just wasn't highlighted enough.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Which sucks.
Yeah. Oh, it very much does.
I had a hard time. Like the story was boring.
It really was. Even the whole scene where they're in the Walgreens and I didn't even really find that funny.
No, dude, I didn't find anything in this movie funny.
Mary flying around on those vacuums. I didn't think that was funny.
No, me either. The only thing that that maybe got a chuckle out of me was the freaking Roombas. And just how they happened to be perfect enough to come and vacuum up the salt that had them trapped.
Oh yeah.
But that was the only thing, and they had the ingredients for a good movie. It's just the execution on this was just horrendous.
What's funny is, okay, I can think of one scene that actually made me laugh, and it's not even the three OGs playing the Sanderson sisters. It's the flashback at the beginning. It's when the girl that plays young Winifred, she's just no, I don't want to marry him. I want to marry Billy Butcherson. And Billy, the kid that plays Billy, he's just what? Why me? I don't know why I said that was actually really funny.
Yep, that got me too.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that definitely got me too. Yeah. It was rough, dude. This was a really tough watch.
I wish Kenny Ortega could have come back to direct this sequel.
I agree, dude.
It's a sequel. I get it. Hocus Pocus is remembered as, for many, one of the greatest Halloween films ever made. It's so nostalgic. It's one that so many people go back to every year. I probably don't watch it every single year, but I've seen it very many times. But everyone was just so pushing for a sequel. Oh yeah, we want one, when it really didn't need one. And this movie showcases that it did not need a sequel. It was a perfect standalone movie.
Yeah. It was rough, dude. I like that it kind of tied up some loose ends a little bit, what happened with the book.
Yeah, I would agree. I will agree with that.
It tied that up nicely, and it tied up the whole Billy being asleep for the past however many years.
Hell, what is it? I don't know.
It just lacked. It's just the necessity wasn't there. Now,
it was not.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll give them this. The way that they did bring them back, completely made sense. Light another black flame candle. I can totally buy into that.
Dude, I will even say with this one, the way, the introduction of how they come back, because in the first one, they literally, they're in their cottage and they open the door and bam, there they are. Whereas in this one, I actually love that you actually get to see them risen up from hell.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was freaking awesome. Yeah, that is really cool. But that's one of the only cool things I got for this sequel.
Yeah, and then it's just, I don't know, this is more of a writing issue, but the use of the performance was used in the first one, was used in a way that it made sense.
Yes.
Here, they had multiple performances that just did not land. Like when they were singing the Witches Are Back song, like when they first appeared, I'm like, this seems a little over the top.
Like, I mean, and I get like
Sanderson Sisters.
No, I agree because like even like the one of the girls, because oh my god, I'm sorry, they're just so forgettable. I forgot the one girl's name, the one that wears the glasses. she's literally says to her friend, like, who were they even singing to? And then Mary's like right next to her, and she's just like, you.
Yeah, it wasn't the best written anything, but I was like, okay, I guess.
Like, and okay, I feel that I should bring this up with story because me and Caleb were talking about this tour like before we recorded, and I still don't know how to feel with it because I remember after this movie ended, I was pissed at this because it just felt so out of place. But like more thinking about it, I'm like, I get that they were trying for like sentimental, but in some ways it works, in some ways it doesn't. But like what I read that when like they do the spell at the end, Mary and Sarah disappear, and Winifred is in distress. She misses her sisters, and so they do the spell that it makes her be free to be with her sisters again. And when I was watching this, I'm like, from remembering how she is in the first one, that just feels so out of left character for her. I get it. They're her sisters. But just for the first one, it seemed like she kind of freaking was not hated them, but like she was kind of a bitch to them.
Yeah, well, you gotta think. Sibling rivalry is a real thing. So for me, it made sense that she would like do that, like go that route and want to be with her sisters. It didn't feel too out of character for me because it's like in the first one, her sisters were kind of like her ride or die. Like they were ready to freaking like die together. They did everything together. And then I think just at the beginning, just tying it in like, oh, this is your coven and a witch is nothing without her coven. Like that whole thing, that just kind of solidified the relationship a little bit more. So it didn't feel too out of character. So it's, I don't know. And then also it's like she didn't read the warning and like, or Winifred didn't read the warning. So it's like she didn't know that's what she had to give up for the power or whatever. So it's, I'm very hit and miss with the ending.
You know what? I think you just brought me to your side.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that being said, was it good? No.
Yeah. But
like, if this whole movie, dude, like the issues that I had with the first one was that the story, like it had too much fluff. It needed to be like shaved down into something a little bit better paced. This movie, it had the perfect pacing, but it was the content that just was not great.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I feel like I had reasonable expectations of this movie, but
I just knew like going into this. Yeah, I mean, I knew going into this, I'm just like, I'm going to walk away with this knowing one thing that will happen is that I will just love seeing these three together again. And I feel that the chemistry is just going to be the exact same from the first movie. It's just going to be so great. And that's exactly what I got. You can definitely tell that these three still have the magic between them. And I had such a joy watching them again.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's really all we got.
Yep, yeah. All the other characters are so forgettable. If you thought any of the characters in the first one were forgettable, oh yeah, just wait till you watch this one.
Yeah, no freaking joke there. The only character that I actually like gave a shit about was Billy Butcherson. Like when he came back, I was like, "Oh, this is okay." Like here's a little nostalgia cake for me. And then, again, that just kind of led somewhere that let me down.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I cared a little bit about Gilbert, but I think the only reason I cared about him was because he literally tricked the two girls into lighting a black flame candle to bring the Sanderson sisters back. I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
but
like, when you read your reading of the synopsis was way more interesting than the film was.
Yes.
Like, the synopsis does not do it justice. Like, the synopsis made it sound like it was, like, interesting. And it wasn't.
It wasn't, because I feel one character that they just needed to establish so much better was Gilbert. And I know it should have been the two girls. But the fact that, like, you know, since they first appeared in 93, he saw them disappear. And he's like, literally, he picked up book, just dedicated his whole life just trying to recreate the black flame candle, bring them back. And, you know, he's able to do it. I don't know. I just wanted a little more backstory with that. I'm like, okay, but we're not really showcased why you are so into the Sanderson sisters. Like, why you're like, I know, like, they
felt like a
explain,
strange obsession, especially for someone
did.
who's sharing stories of them wanting to eat children.
Dude, straight up.
Like, what was plan A?
Yeah.
Like, you thought,
and also it
you were
seems
going
like
to resurrect. You thought you were going to resurrect the Sandersons, and they suddenly were going to be like, "Oh, we don't need to eat babies anymore."
Yeah, right.
Or not babies, kids.
Whatever.
Like, you know.
But it seems like he's like the only one, and you know, like the two girls in all of Salem that like talk about the Sanderson sisters now. They've kind of been just forgotten. They're not really they're not even like a scary story that they tell at Halloween, it seemed.
Not really. It's odd.
Like, hell, even freaking 40 years later in the Halloween franchise, they still tell stories about Michael Myers, how, you know, he's the boogeyman, he's the myth. Everyone knows the myth, but not everyone knew that he was actually a thing. Where, like, in this one, it's been like a little over 20 years since the events of the first one, and yeah, people just forgot about what happened in 93.
Well, you gotta think, it's like not everyone interacted with the Sandersons.
Yeah, that's true.
So it would have become like a myth. Like, you would have had the small group of parents that had to dance in the gym for like hours on end because the Sanderson sisters came and put a spell on them and then left. So they probably just came out of that and were like, okay, that was weird. But not really talking about it. And then it just kind of became like a town myth.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we put all our kids to bed, and then for some weird reason they all started like leaving the house, and so they woke up out in the middle of the street, and so that was weird. But again, nothing would have come from that.
Yeah, okay, you got a point there.
Yeah, that's my whole justification for it. But this whole, I don't know what this was lacking. It's like, on paper, it seems like it should have been really good. Honestly, I think it was just execution.
Yeah, I would agree.
And that's like really unfortunate because I think this movie had the potential to be really freaking good.
Oh yeah, it's freaking Hocus Pocus 2. This should have been a great sequel.
Yeah, this should have been an easy freaking payday, Disney.
I mean, it was.
I know, but it's like you screwed it up. Like, you're only going to get maybe, I'll say 2, maybe 3 years worth of viewings from this movie. Unlike the first one, where they're going to get way more than their money's worth.
I mean, you heard though, like, the record that Hocus Pocus 2 set, right?
Are you shitting me? It set a record. What record?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's so. As far as like Disney Plus original movies, it is the most watched.
Are you actually shitting me?
I'm dead serious.
That's such serious bullshit, dude.
It is the most watched Disney Plus original movie.
okay, maybe we're the minority here.
Apparently.
Like,
and I know, like, people will say, like, oh, just accept it for what it is. Like, they did their best. They could have done a lot better. Like, come on.
No, having seen the original as recently as we have, and coming to this was not even close to their best.
No, I walked away disappointed, and I didn't expect to feel that way after Hocus Pocus 2.
Yeah.
Or at least not as disappointed as I was.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate. The story, though, isn't the worst thing in the world, though. It, like, I know True. We're just like, it seems like we're ripping at a new one, but it wasn't like the worst thing. Like, honestly, I think I still might be in like the 70s, but I'm in like the low 70s.
Yeah, same here. I don't think I can go in the 60s. And like, honestly, I feel it's just because seeing those three together again. That's what pushes it barely into the 70s.
Yeah, like, they were good. I wish the movie would have just focused on them. Like, I wish that it would have found a way for them to, like, be brought back, but not have the focus on these new witches.
Yeah.
So, but the sisters were definitely enough to keep this in the very, very average range.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to sit at like a solid 70 with this.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Not a... almost give it a U.
Alright, next up we got writing. Again, this is one of those things. The writing for the sisters was really good. The writing for everyone else, not so good.
Yeah. Just the writing for the two. Okay, I gotta get their names because I feel bad that I just keep calling them the lead girls.
Yeah, so we got Becca, who is the witch, Izzy, who is the friend, and then Cassie, who is the estranged friend.
Okay, so the writing for Becca and Izzy it's all right. I feel the writing for Becca is better.
Agreed.
But maybe that's because I liked we'll get to this with acting. I thought Becca's actress was better than Izzy's, but that's just my opinion. But the, oh my god, what was their friend's name again? Cassie?
Yeah.
God, I hated her writing.
She was so freaking generic, dude.
Dude, straight up. Like, even their, like, whole, them being like friends years ago, but then when she became popular, they separated. That just felt like such a generic classic high school plot. Like, or junior high plot. I don't know how old they are. Well, no, they would be in high school, right? If they're 16?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
So they would have been like
sophomores?
Sophomores?
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen that a million times. Like, you grow up in elementary, but once you get to junior high or high school, everyone finds their different cliques, and you guys go their separate ways. And then, of course, they have to touch upon that and see if they come back together. And just, I hate it. Boring.
Dude, I thought the route that they were going to take with that, because it's like it felt so unjustified with Cassie hanging out with her boyfriend Mike. The route that I thought they were going to take, and I thought it would have been way more interesting, is if Cassie was dating Mike, who Becca had a crush on. Or had dated, like maybe like Becca's ex or something.
Yeah, that would have... Dude, you could have even written a better plot for this.
Yeah, that's not a super high bar.
Or one that's more cohesive. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just, it would have made more sense. It would have added a little a little teen drama, but it still would have added a little bit like spice to it. Like, oh shit, like how are they going to come back from this? like one of those things. Like it I don't know. It would have worked a little bit better for me. And then it's still like Cassie still like distancing herself because she's, I don't know, whatever you want to go there, like, but they missed the mark. Just the whole
Absolutely.
Oh, now I'm popular, now we're not friends anymore. Freaking who cares?
Yeah.
I will say this though, Mike was decently written. Like, I love that he wasn't like
That's
the
fair.
typical like bullying asshole. He was just an idiot, but still like funny.
Yeah. Because I'll fully admit, the freak out that he has in the class when she does like the whole spell thing. Yeah, that made me chuckle a little bit.
Yeah, and then when he realized that he was like bullying, like, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I have so many people to apologize to."
Yeah, see, I love that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
actually awesome, getting someone to admit to it.
Yeah, I loved that. Like, and I think like Mike could have been a really interesting character for them to explore more of.
Oh, absolutely.
But we just didn't get it. Like, they didn't set up why we should care.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like Becca just kind of being into witchcraft and then suddenly, oh, she has powers. Like, come on, what? Like, it's weird. I think that instead of it being like, I don't know. I don't know how the hell to make Becca more interesting.
Dude, you and me both.
Like, instead of it being like something that she, like, the witchcraft stuff, instead of it being something that she just kind of has an interest in, like, show us from the get-go that she has some, like, magic about her. And maybe...
Yeah.
And maybe, like, not even go as far as being like, oh, Gilbert set this up so she summons the Sanderson sisters and throw that whole plot in. Maybe set it so she accidentally turns a candle into a black flame candle.
See, yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, like with her innate magical abilities, she accidentally turns a normal candle that she's using for this birthday ritual that she does every year. She accidentally turns it into a black flame candle, resurrecting the Sanderson sisters for a small period of time. And then they want to do this like ultimate magic spell to make them more powerful. Like, that would have been so much more interesting for me.
Oh, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Like, get rid of freaking Gilbert altogether. And then maybe... I'm trying to think. Oh, you know how the freaking, like, the mother, or the witch mother, she's like, oh, like, like, here's your spell book, like, the magical items, magical things always have a way of, like, showing up to each other, like, that whole shtick.
Yes, yeah.
Like, how cool would it have been if Becca was having, like, dreams of the book? And then she, like, comes across the book. Or, like, comes across the real book at the shop. Like, if you really wanted to throw in the magic shop.
See, yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, it's just, gosh, there's so many, like, little minor things that you could have shifted just a hair.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt really sloppily put together. But I mean, the dialogue wasn't the worst thing in the world.
No, I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, and the sisters were still funny, like how they're supposed to be. I think and I feel like I've noticed this with other movies. When you have more than one or two writers, the story just gets real sloppy.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
And this movie has 3 writers.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's two people are the characters are based on characters created by. There are 3 story by characters, and then there's 1 screenplay by. So in my mind, that's 4 writers.
Yeah. Wow.
And it feels like it. It feels very like it's too busy.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
So on story, I think our writing, just because I feel like the dialogue was somewhat decent, but with all of the freaking issues that I had with the general story itself and how everything was written out, and like I said, became way too freaking busy, I might be at a 70 with this one as well.
I think I'm just going to go slightly above, just a 71, just because of the writing for the sisters, and it felt like, for the most part, it felt like the first one with their writing, which I appreciated.
That's fair. So moving on over to acting, we have Winifred Sanderson, who is played by Bette Midler. We have Sarah Sanderson, who is played by Sarah Jessica Parker. We have Mary Sanderson, who was played by Kathy Najimy. Becca, who is played by Whitney Peake. Izzy, who is played by Belissa Escobedo. Cassie, who is played by Lilia Buckingham. Gilbert, who was played by Sam Richardson. Billy Butcherson, who is played by Doug Jones. And then finally we have the mayor / Reverend Trask, who is played by Tony Hale. So I'm assuming with your top 3, we're talking sisters, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So other than the sisters, okay, so I forget what my ranking was. Oh, so I remember mine. Mine was like on the first Hocus Pocus. Mine was Winifred, Sarah, and then Mary, like respectively in that order. Wasn't yours Winifred, Mary, Sarah?
No, mine was Mary, Winifred, Sarah.
Okay. Do you stand by that ranking?
Yes. Does not change at all.
Okay, same with me.
Okay.
So, other than those 3...
Wait, whoa. Sorry. Okay, wait, you had Mary last, right?
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Scratch that. Pump the brakes.
That's fine if
for this,
but I'm just...
So yeah, I was Winifred, Sarah, Mary for the first. This one, I'm going Winifred, Mary, Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I had to make that
No,
correction.
you're good. No, you're good. No, I just wanted to make sure, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick calling you out, but I just want to make sure that I just wanted to see if you thought Mary's performance was just a little better than Sarah's in this one, just because kind of how we talked about because of the writing, it just feels like it's not Sarah that much in this movie.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. With that, so since we have that established, and it's basically for the exact same reasons as the first movie.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 that are not the sisters?
Number 1, I would absolutely give to Gilbert. I actually had for the most part, I actually liked his character, even though there are some things that needed to be filled in with his backstory. And his attraction towards the Sanderson, not attraction, his what's the word?
Obsession.
obsession. Thank you. His obsession with the Sanderson sisters. But I really enjoyed his performance. Number 2, I would probably give to probably Becca.
Fair.
Wait. Okay. Is Becca the main one, or is that Izzy?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I keep effing
Becca's
this up.
Becca's like the new Winifred.
Okay.
And then Izzy's the one with glasses, and then Cassie's the estranged friend.
Okay. So number 2, I would give to Becca, and because I feel that the young actress is honestly giving her best. It's just the writing is just not great for her.
For the young, or which actress?
For Becca's actress.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel she's trying her best with what she's given. So I'd give her number 2, and then number 3, I'll give to the I forget his name that plays Billy Butcherson. Just because I think it's actually really cool that the guy that played him in the first one comes back to play him. It was really cool seeing him back, but I feel he had more to do in the first one. I get that, like he goes off with Gilbert, and acquires all of this stuff, but I don't know. I had more of an enjoyable time watching him in the first one than I did in this one.
That's fair. I'm glad we got to hear him talk a little bit in this one.
Same here. I would agree with that.
So I would actually go Billy Butcherson would be my number 1, because I enjoyed seeing him on screen again, and he fit back into the role so freaking well. The way that he was just mouthing off to everyone. And I loved it. So I'm giving him Doug Jones my number 1. Number 2, funny enough, I would actually give to the mayor, played by Tony Hale.
Okay, that's fair.
I thought he was hilarious. And like, I felt bad for him too, because it's like, dude just wanted like a decent caramel apple, and he had to end up going to Walgreens for one, and those ones freaking suck ass. And I don't know, that whole thing was super funny to me, and like his reaction to everything going on around him, like when the mob came and was like surrounding him, and he's like, oh my gosh, and then they like someone stole his apple. I don't know. There was just something about the way that he pulled that off that really like stuck with me.
I get you.
My number 3, shit, I actually might have to give it to the actress who played young Winifred.
Oh, dude, I forgot about... Yes! She was incredible.
She did so good, dude. Oh my gosh. She freaking killed it.
Yeah, she did.
Like, oh my gosh. And I love the behind the scenes stuff that I've been reading on this movie. Because Doug Jones was talking about when he came on set dressed up as Billy Butcherson. He's like, it felt like Elvis had just walked into the building. The way everyone was just like freaking out.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, granted, like, I get it, totally get it. And then Bette Midler has been talking about like her interactions with the actress her name's Taylor Henderson, by the way, but who played young Winifred, and their interaction and like getting the body language and posture down, and like working with the teeth and everything, like so freaking funny. Like, when I first saw her, I was like, I don't know how much I'm going to like this. And then, like, the second she's on screen and pushing everyone away and all that crazy shit, like, I was like, sold. Absolutely sold on this little girl playing Winifred.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah. So that's my ranking. So yeah, Billy, Mare, and then young Winifred.
I like it.
All right, with that, what would you give their acting?
Just because I loved seeing these three back in these roles, and I feel that they did a really good job, even though some of the writing wasn't great for the three of them. So although some of the supporting cast does bring them down, so I'm gonna go with 78.
That's actually really fair. And dude, I had high hopes. Like, they started off strong.
Yeah.
Like, when they brought in the witch mother and everything, like, I kind of was a little like, about it, but after, like, they started talking a little bit more and really getting into that discussion, I was sold. Like, I was absolutely sold. I'm like, this movie's going to be really, like, I thought it was going to be really good. Because I'm like, the young actresses are killing it. The freaking witch mother, who's a new character, is killing it. Like, we're going to have the Sanderson sisters back, and we know they're going to freaking kill it. And honestly, I feel like maybe they were the ones that underperformed. But it had such a strong start. And so, as it went on and just, like, slowly started going down and down and down, it was a little disappointing.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm actually probably a little bit below you. The extras are the ones that killed it for me. Like, wasn't and the main girls, like freaking Becca, Izzy, and Cassie, did not care for them.
Yeah.
And I mean, their performances were watchable. No real complaints there. It's just, I don't know, there was some inconsistencies that I didn't care for.
That's absolutely fair.
So I think I'm going to be at like a 76.
All right.
All right, moving on over to character development, which this one's kind of tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that I feel like actually had a decent character growth, just like seeing a lot more of like how she felt with her relationship with her sisters, I guess you could say Winifred, but I don't really even know. I don't know. I don't really even know how I could do the character development for either of like the main girls, just because they really didn't get that much.
They really didn't. So I might agree with you that since she was the only one that seemed to have any, doing it on Winifred.
Okay, let's do it on Winifred Sanderson then.
Yeah, so they focus on Winifred as a young girl, 16, coming into her powers, having recently been banished from her town in Salem and traveling into the Forbidden Woods and obtaining her spell book from the Witch Mother. And she's taught this lesson that a witch is nothing without her coven, and to never perform this like ultimate power spell. The movie goes on. Nothing too special. The sisters appear and slowly work their way into they're getting into the plan of becoming or doing the power spell. So once they perform that and her sisters disappear, Winifred has a major change of heart that seemingly comes out of nowhere. And it's like her whole tone shifted. It wasn't just like...
Seriously, though.
She was just, like, she was getting ready to freaking, like, bushwhack all of Salem. And then realizes her sisters are gone. And then, like, is almost, like, pleading for something to be done.
Yeah.
And it's... Like I said, I don't feel it's out of character, but it definitely just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I feel that's the best way to say it, because honestly, talking about it more, yeah, it doesn't necessarily feel out of character, but yeah, like you said, it just comes out of nowhere and hits you in the face.
Yeah, and so she gives up her ultimate power to be reunited with her sisters. And I mean, I guess it's good-ish. This is one of those other ones. It's so hard to score the development on this. It's like, because there was no growth for anyone in this movie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I wouldn't consider this a horror movie. We could do like The Logic, I guess, but
I don't even know how to do that for this one.
I wouldn't either. So this is a tough one. And here I actually might be the same as my acting score, like 76, because it was like okay.
Yeah, I think maybe just because for my initial reaction of how I felt like it was just completely out of character, but like how we were, like you I feel that you helped me persuade just a little bit the other way. So I think I'm just going to be one notch lower at a 75.
Completely fair. All right, next up we got effects. And I don't know how to feel about this one.
It is very clear, or at least I feel a lot of people have said that this definitely feels like a Disney Channel movie, and it definitely does. Definitely in the effects wise, because there is a lot of the flying scenes that I'm just like, yeah, I can totally tell that that's green screen. You're not even trying here.
That one I was a little tough on, like because it's like it matched pretty closely to the original, like kind of had that same tone, like. But
at least with the original though, that a lot of that was wire work.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they even had any wire work in this movie.
They actually had a decent amount. Like
they did. Oh.
Yeah, their takeoffs were all wire work.
Okay, all right, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it was. The issues that I had were when they were flying above the town.
Yeah,
that looked
that's definitely
not good.
Yeah, it did not.
And I'd be interested to learn more too, like when they were having the mob try and find the mayor, whether or not that was green screen or wire work, because that looked really good.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And it's like it was very inconsistent. Like that's what sucks. It's like it was inconsistency. Like sometimes they'd fly and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that is horrendous green screen." Other times it's wire work and it looks okay for wire work. It's not like the best thing in the world, but it's decent wire work. And then their magics look pretty decent.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm trying to think, like, can you recall any like magic that didn't look good?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, all the abilities that everyone used, again, it was used sparingly. I think they used it a little bit more than they did in the original, which makes sense. It was a little bit more expensive to do back then. But I think they did like a similar enough job to like I think they matched the effects pretty freaking well. Like in comparison to the original.
Yeah, you know what? I think I can agree.
Yeah, I mean, other than the shoddy green screen, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I might go let's see. I forget what I think we gave it an 89, like the original an 89. Just because I don't feel like these ones are going to hold up as well. I think I'm going to be at like an 87.
No, I'll match you.
All right, next up we got music. So what did you think of the music?
Okay, so the two ones the biggest songs that they sung in this were The Witches Are Back, right?
Yes.
And what was it? The pink I forget who sings it. The One Way or Another, I'm Gonna Find You.
Yep.
It I don't know what it was. Like in the first one, it made sense why they're doing that. Like, I put a spell on you. Like that just made sense. But I don't know. Like some of the instances, them using the witches are back, or mostly the witches are back, just because that one just feels so out of, just like right as they come back from hell. That's what they start breaking. That's what they break into, right?
Yep.
And I get it, like, after the number ends, or when it's about to end, the Izzy, he's just like, who are they even performing to? And Mary just like pops right next to her, and she's just like, we're singing for you. And so I'm like, okay, I get it, but just, I don't know. I don't remember the sisters like being so, like, I mean, when they appeared in '93, they never busted out into a song. So why in 2022 they do?
Yeah. And it's tough. It's because like they don't seem super performative in the original. They do to enchant the adults. Like you said, makes sense. And I guess Sarah kind of has her own little performance to lure children.
That's, dude, that I don't know if we touched upon that scene at all when we reviewed Hocus Pocus, but like that, Sarah Jessica Parker like deserves a freaking like round of applause for like how creepy she made that song. She did such an incredible job.
So, gosh, this one's tough.
Because when they are sung, they're decent, they're good. Like, I enjoy the performances. It's just, especially The Witches Are Back, just felt so out of place.
Yeah. This is one that I think my personal idea of where I think the music would be is maybe like a 7. But I think the performances were good enough to warrant an 8. Like, and I know that seems like a small difference to everyone, but still.
No, honestly, I think I can agree with you. I really do.
Yeah, so, the rest of the scores were amazing. Like, everything fit. It's just those 2 performances. But the performances were good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In the way of, like, the story and everything, that's where it kind of gets a little loosey-goosey. Like, oh, should that music have been there? But the music itself was good.
Yeah.
Absolutely
agree.
I think that's kind of how I'm scoring it this go round. Like, if I'm thinking, like, how it worked within the movie, I might actually be down as far as a 6.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think I'm at an 8 just because of how well or how good the songs were by themselves.
Yeah.
And then everything else seemed to work. It just I think that's the perfect spot. Because it's like
I absolutely agree.
The songs were good. Like if they would have fit better into where they were supposed to go, I think I might have even been up to a 9. But just because of how out of place, but the performances were good, 8 is the solid answer.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
All right, next up we got costumes. And damn it if these ones aren't freaking amazing again.
Yeah, just as good as the original.
Yeah, like I still actually might be at a 10 with these. I think they were that good.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I think I'm gonna agree.
Yeah, I mean, we did with the first Hocus Pocus, we gave those costumes a 10 because of the Sanderson sisters and Billy. And again, Sandersons and Billy looked incredible. No one else seemed to have any other costumes. Actually, the witch mother, I loved her outfit, dude.
Yeah, oh, she looks so good.
She looked amazing. So, yeah, I have no issues giving this a 10. I mean, if you got a killer costume, you got a killer costume.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. So, yeah, I'm at a 10 as well. For some reason, I was in my own head.
Yeah, I was
just
okay.
really getting into... Sorry, man, I was really thinking of those costumes. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
When it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Freaking...
Apparently it was that good. Holy shit, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. This is where I feel our attempt at being unbiased shows. Because, I mean, we could easily just go through and give these all, like, average scores. But this is, like, one movie where there's one category that will friggin' throw something over the top. Where some people don't take into consideration, like, oh, it's not a good... Like, some people, I think, would be like, hey, this is a really shitty movie, shitty writing, blah, blah, blah. Like, just completely rip it a new one and not really focus on anything that was good about it. Because there's always something good in a movie. Other than maybe, like, food fight. But...
yeah, we don't talk about that movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's always something good about every movie. And with this movie, it was the freaking music and the costumes that just killed it. Like, the music didn't fit, so that's why it didn't score higher. But yeah, the costumes, anyone making an argument that the costumes deserve less than a 10 is out of their freaking mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so... Costumes getting a 10. Last up, we got our own personal score. So, would you like to take this one first?
I would love to. So, overall, I did walk away from Hocus Pocus 2 disappointed. Not fully. I will admit it was great seeing these three back together again, playing the Sanderson sisters. They honestly didn't miss a beat. If I have some problems with them, it's not the actress's fault, it's the writing. And especially with Sarah's character, that's really where my problem lies, is just the writing. It was a lot better in the first one for her. But it's just, the supporting characters are very bland, the story's not super solid. It wasn't the sequel that I was hoping for. But at the same time, like, I always felt that the first one didn't really even need a sequel. They tied it up very well. It made sense why the Sanderson sisters wouldn't be able to return again. So just, it feels like an unnecessary sequel. And because of that, I feel they could have done a little better, but in a way, I guess they did the best that they could. And just when the biggest thing that you can take away from this movie, it is so great seeing Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker playing these three characters again. That's the best part of this movie, and honestly, that's what I knew was going to be the best part, and I'm grateful that is the best part. I'll go with like a 71.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I had high expectations for this movie, thinking like, hey, this is a great movie being made in modern times. Like, they can cut out the fluff of, like, if they can just capture the magic of the original, like, that would be perfect. And I think that's where they fell short. They just didn't capture that magic. The only bit that they were able to capture was the relationship between the Sandersons. That was like the only thing. And then obviously they had Billy, like Butcherson, which was great. And I'm kind of glad that they made that tie-in to the original. I would have maybe liked to see a little bit more fan service from maybe bring in the actors, or maybe not even the actors if those actors were unwilling or not working as actors anymore, which kind of sucks because the little girl, what was her name? Max from the original. She still acts. Danny, that's right.
Yeah.
Who's Max? Was Max?
Max was the
brother?
Yeah, Max was the brother.
Okay, so yeah, Danny still acts. So it's tough. It's kind of sad that they didn't bring her in. Like, I don't know if they attempted to or whatever, but I think this could have used a little more of a nostalgia sprinkles.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, honestly, I'll probably go back and watch the original before I come back and watch this one.
Yeah, dude, same. Absolutely same.
And that sucks. Like, honestly, the only thing I might watch this for is like the opening sequence with the young sisters.
Yeah, because that was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, yeah, I might be. Gosh, I'm actually a little lower than you, like with my personal score. I think I'm sitting at like a 68.
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. I understand.
Yeah, I didn't have that good of a time watching it. It was just me wanting to go back and watch the original. Yeah. So with that concludes this week's breakdown, and going through each of the categories real quick. The story starting off pretty in the average range, sitting at a 70. Writing scored half a point higher than that, so it's sitting at a 70.5. Our acting was a significant improvement, sitting at a 77. Character development went down a little bit, sitting at a 75.5. The effects brought it up quite a bit, sitting at a solid 87. The music, like we said, really excellent music, just didn't quite fit well with the tone of the movie, so it's sitting at an 8. And then the costumes, without a doubt, sitting at a solid 10, because who can frickin' beat the Sanderson Sisters? And then our personal score averaged out to a 69.5, which makes that our lowest category. So with that, the final Allbros letter grade for Hocus Pocus 2 has come to a C.
Okay. I can agree with that.
Yeah, it's It's a fairly solid C. So our range for C is... Oh, hold on. Yeah, our range for a C is anywhere between a 76 and... 73 and 76. And this movie is sitting at a 74.91%.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely in the middle there. So comparing this to other movies of the C score, Hocus Pocus 2 has been put below Surf's Up, which is sitting at a 74.96.
You said it's above that?
Below.
Oh, below. Sorry.
Yeah, it is also below Power Rangers, which is at a 75.18.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
It is below Venom, which is at a 75.22. It is below The Rise of Skywalker, which is at a 75.31. And then finally, it is below Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is at a 75.33.
No.
Going the opposite direction, it is above Scoob, which is at a 74.81.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, I think I probably did enjoy this more than Scoob.
Really?
I think I can actually agree with that.
Alright, let's see. Oh, it's also above Unfriended, which is at a 74.5.
Fair.
It is above Fantasy Island, which is at a 74.37.
Yeah, I hated that movie.
It is above Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is at a 74.28. And then finally, it is above The Forever Purge, which is at a 73.31.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think it has a pretty decent home.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
So yeah. Anyway, that concludes this week's breakdown. If you guys like this episode, want to hear more of our stuff, be sure to follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We are also on all social media platforms. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find us at the All Bros. Or you guys can check us out on our website, which is tinyurl.com/the All Bros, where you can find links to everything that we do. Next week, you guys can look forward to our breakdown of Halloween Ends. I know Rose is beyond excited for this movie.
Whew, so excited.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that next week. And I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think I did.
Yeah, I don't think you did either.
Yeah. So yeah, so you guys can look forward to that next week. Until then, this has been the All Bros Podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Deuces.
Huh? See, are we? Oh God, no. That was
What the shit was that?
I have no idea. That was Mickey hitting puberty for the first time.